What's up, chumps? I am Jay Enterprise, and it is movie review time. I'm not a professional critic, just someone who loves movies and loves talking about them. I'm not going to be giving out any letter grades or star ratings. See it for yourself, be your own judge. Now we're going to go back to 1995's Batman Forever. That's quite a nice bat phone you got there.
Is this the start of the show?
Oh, yeah.
You didn't introduce you yet.
Well, I'm about to. This is another Bat movie review. We've put the Burtons behind us. We are now on to the Joel Schumacher duo, Batman Forever.
That's why I'm texting right now, because it's just the Schumacher ones. Actually, no. I do like the Schumacher ones for what they are.
And what are they?
Terrible. But it's just like the 66. Like, when you look back at it, again, those movies are so quotable, and people might I would argue some people will remember more about the Schumacher ones, maybe not for the right reasons, than they would about any other Batman films. People love to talk about how stupid these movies are. Batman Forever, I don't think is a terribly bad movie. There's things about it that I actually do like, maybe because the cast is amazing. In my opinion, even though they were not dealt the greatest, script and costumes. When you look at it, you're like, don't tell me that cast is bad. Like, it's a good cast. Same with Batman and Robin. We're talking Batman Forever, right?
Yeah, this is Batman Forever.
Batman and Robin, that's a good cast. But they were dealt with a horrible director who didn't take it seriously. Admittingly, literally, he said he reminded them this is just a comic or a cartoon, as he would say before takes. That was a quote of his. Who apologized for making these movies as bad as they were. So he knew they were bad.
And the director apologizes, you got a real sack of shit.
Yes, absolutely.
The first, what a change in tone. First of all, literally the first scene of this movie is a joke.
Yes.
It's the drive-through line.
I'll get
you immediately know. Yeah. I'll drive through. You immediately know, this is.
But a good Batman in the cowl.
Bat of a different color.
Though
Kilmer's
I gotta
okay.
Say, Kilmer's all about the lips.
He's a good Batman, but his Bruce Wayne was I just thought he was very kind of boring and monotone.
They did nothing with him as Bruce.
Yeah.
But one thing I will absolutely say is there's something, his lips just stand out. I don't know what they did to those things, but it may sound weird. When you watch Batman Forever back, try to look at a scene, like when he's done kissing Nicole Kidman, he walks away, and there's just, they put something on those things. I swear, somebody went, we gotta make his lips pop. Because I don't know if it's the way he structures his face, but
he's got a good facial structure.
He looks good in the cowl, but...
It's like the only memorable thing Val Kilmer ever did.
Yeah.
Before he got fat.
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher's Batman Forever, starring Val Kilmer's lips.
Yeah, essentially. Okay. That's what it is to me. Even though I don't think it got top billing either. Yeah. I think it was Jim Carrey, and it was the villains again. I think they got top billing, if I remember.
Well, let's talk about the cast. Jim Carrey was at the height of his career in '95. He was probably the top comedic actor in Hollywood. An argument could be made for Adam Sandler. 1A, 1B, definitely Carrey and Sandler. Tommy Lee Jones had some solid movies throughout the '90s, and this movie was actually my introduction to Nicole Kidman.
Probably me too.
And actually, she has never looked hotter.
Chase Meridian.
Which is a great name. That's an amazing name. That's such a good name.
I changed my wrestling name to that.
Chase Meridian, yeah.
Dr. Chase Meridian. Dr. Chase Meridian.
But she's a beautiful woman. Not really my type. And there's other movies. I've seen a lot of movies with Nicole Kidman, and she looks great in all of them. But I've never been like, oh my God, Nicole Kidman in any other movie.
No.
Except Batman Forever. Same thing with Cameron Diaz. Cameron Diaz, again, good looking woman, but there are no movies where I'm like, oh my God, Cameron Diaz. Except for one movie. The Mask, where she looks phenomenal. But Nicole Kidman just is a smoke show in this movie. And who can forget the scene where she's in her bed, obviously not wearing anything underneath.
Yeah.
And there's that above camera shot, the camera's even rotating, and she's under the covers, and you just see the outline of her body. That's very exciting for a 12-year-old kid, let me tell you.
They do a thing with her hair too. She's always talking with her hair covering half her face.
Her hair is its own character in this movie.
It really is.
Maybe that got top billing over the lips.
It might have. No, I like this cast. They did weird stuff with the villains. Tommy Lee Jones is legitimately probably my favorite actor of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
And I like him as Two-Face, but I think just because I like him.
I think it's
the character
is
terrible.
It's like a discount Joker.
He's very... The issue with both characters are... they're just very cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
They're all about laughing, including Two-Face, who's supposed to be a miserable character.
Yep.
Who really is not a bad guy deep down. He's only just doing, things out of like his, I guess you want to say his addiction to his split personality. He's always caught. He's not just doing necessarily things at will. And in this movie, he's just doing weird stuff.
And he's like, he's a mobster.
He's a mobster.
And he's like up there in the pecking order in the comics. And my first introduction to Two-Face was the animated series. He's a very stoic, very serious, brooding character.
Yeah.
And here he's just a robber.
He's jumping around.
Yeah.
Same with Jim Carrey.
I like Carrey's portrayal. I feel like Carrey's portrayal was more appropriate to the Riddler than Tommy Lee Jones was to Two-Face.
I could agree with that. Riddler, however, it seems like Jim Carrey was doing his best Joker impersonation, in my opinion.
And it's funny because I feel that about Tommy Lee Jones.
Which I totally agree with. But personally, I like Riddler when he's a little more psychotic. Granted, the only Riddler before him was Frank Gorshin, who was the same thing.
Fantastic. But I
Jumping
love
around.
Gorshin's laugh is so good.
Just acting ridiculous. However, for those that watch the series, I don't think there's been a better Riddler than the one on Gotham, who is disturbed, and he's obsessive, and he is crazy about being a genius, and he doesn't have ridiculous things in his apartment. In fact, he works for Gotham PD at the start of the show. And he just kind of loses his mind over time, and he has this all kind of like another personality, like in the Riddler. There's not this jumping around, and that's even if you watch the animated series.
Mm-hmm.
Like Riddler was not necessarily a jumpy, hokey guy. Even in the show, his introduction, for those that watched it, he's kind of overlooked, and he's the guy at work that nobody cares about, which they did in this movie, but he was just over the top. He was the traditional nerd. Oh, he's got short, stupid hair. His glasses are big.
Yeah.
He's
a science.
He looks up to the big billionaire. It was very generic.
Well, actually, that's. I loved his obsession with Bruce Wayne in the movie.
It was different.
One part that I totally forgot when they're at the party, the benefit, whatever it is, and he has the mole.
How's my mole?
The Bruce Wayne, Val Kilmer mole, and I like something like that. As little as it is, I think is hilarious and brilliant. Yeah. It's really, really funny. Another casting, I totally forgot Drew Barrymore was in this movie.
Yes.
The two little sidekicks of Two-Face.
They had names.
Debbie Mazur was the evil one who's hot in her own right, and Drew Barrymore, who looks fantastic. It's the lingerie, it's the thigh highs.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for thigh highs. Okay. But I think that another thing with Two-Face is they totally overdid the split personality thing, the two cigarettes, the two drinks, like everything was in twos. It was too much.
The layer was just split. The way he had the girls dressed, it was weird. There was just a lot of, ton of hokiness to this movie.
Yes.
But looking back, again, kind of have to accept it for what it is.
It is.
They filmed it with a ton of merchandise money in mind, making it colorful, because I think one big issue, from what I understand, with Batman Returns and 1989 Batman was the merchandise it sold, but it wasn't kid-friendly.
Okay.
It was very, from what I understand and remember, dark and creepy. It was not your average action figure that is, colorful and heroic looking. So
and
this,
by 95, when Forever came out, this was a major money-making franchise.
Right. And this, you come out with, again, the merchandise again, which to me, that's one thing I remember about these films, is the explosion of merchandise from Batman Forever. It was the first movie to me that, when it comes to superheroes, cashed in on everything Batman. Yeah, that's when they started coming out with figures where you get Batman, not just as Batman, but in 19 different colors and different features. And supposedly, from what I understand, I've heard that has to do with the first two films weren't really kid-friendly stuff.
No.
So this one was all about, again, Ewok syndrome. Make stuff so you can make a lot of merchandise.
Yeah, and going with the merchandise, in the two Burton films, Batman had the same outfit all throughout the movies. In Batman Forever, for the climax of the movie, they changed to brand new outfits with the silver and everything. And that probably was fueled by the desire to sell more toys.
Yeah.
Which, in the end, it's a business. Gotta make money. It is what it is.
And that's exactly how I view this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I like it for the ridiculous reasons, but it's not Batman per se.
Yeah.
And again, Batman doesn't really have a big thing going on in this movie. He's there to stop the villains. It's another movie. Until you get to Batman Begins, these Batman movies do not have much for Bruce or Batman. It's mainly about the villains.
Do you think maybe because Nicholson just absolutely stole the show in '89, that they were like, oh, let's make these more about the villains and see, what can happen out of that? And Batman kind of pushes aside. Everyone knows it's a Batman movie. It's about him. It's got his name on it. But let's put more focus on the villains and see if we can, if lightning can strike twice again with another Nicholson situation.
I think partially, too, that's where more money comes in. It's like everybody already knows, well, you go into the theater, we already know we got the Batman fans. Let's throw in some villains and we can cash in more because the more we throw in, we make more merchandise, blah, blah, blah. Like, I guess they just assume everybody knows the Batman story. So let's, get them more into the villains and invested in those characters.
Yep.
And, it's not a good movie, but I don't absolutely hate it. Because, again, I remember seeing it and I loved it at 5 years old. Now it's a complete shit show.
Yep.
Looking back at it. But I still enjoy little things like Chris O'Donnell, Robin saying, holy rusted metal.
Yeah. And Kilmer's reaction. Huh?
And he's like, the metal, it's rusted. And, holy. He goes, oh.
And O'Donnell makes a good Robin. I love the Robin look. There is a completely pointless scene in this movie where Dick Grayson is doing laundry and Alfred is watching him and he's like doing all this fancy stuff, the laundry, getting water everywhere and throwing stuff on the clothesline.
Spinning it quickly.
Doesn't advance the plot, there's no character development, there's no reason that scene is in the film. I don't
one
understand.
of the most pointless things that's ever been in a Batman film.
Out of the 4 movies, the Burton and the Schumacher films, this one I've actually seen the least. So it was interesting watching it again.
The one I've seen the most.
Leading up to these reviews we're doing, I rewatched them all just to kind of refresh my memory, and I was watching this. So it's almost watching a lot of it for the first time, it felt like. But the main plot of the villains, at least the villains' motivation as far as the Riddler side of it goes, throughout the movie he's feeding Bruce these riddles, which the end game is to reveal who the Riddler is, Edward Nygma. The way the movie is edited and made, it seems like as soon as they figure out the riddles, as soon as they figure out Nygma is the Riddler, that means they can automatically find where the Riddler and Two-Face is. It's weird. The way they make it seem is like they cannot find the villains until they solve the riddles. All the while, Two-Face and Riddler are in this giant green lantern in the bay.
Right there.
So obvious.
Yeah. With
lights and everything.
That
it's
weird blender looking thing, whatever the hell that is, circulating.
One Schumacher down, one more to go. See if we can make it. We
can make it through.
That everybody kind of lambasts.
Yeah, the best one.
The best one.
And the worst.
Ever.
Yeah.
That was Batman Forever, our thoughts. Next we'll discuss Batman and Robin. If you were entertained by this video, I hope you find your way to the like and subscribe buttons. Where can they find you on social media?
The search engine.
Links are in the description.
Nikos Rikos. You'll find it.